Yo, what is up guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video, and today we're talking about the Sycraia rework on the Global Lab this February 20th. The main features of this update is the modernization of Upper Sycraia and Lower Sycraia without actually changing anything massive about their original glory. Something also really nice too is that you can now directly teleport to Upper Sycraia. You just take a deep sea fragment, you take it to the NPC Momo in Velia, or you can go to the NPC Sheila in Ilia Island. You hand over a piece and it'll get you to Upper. You're still going to need the combined 5 pieces of these fragments in order to make the key in order to open Lower Sycraia, but this adds a really nice needed way for newer players or people that don't yet have a unicorn in order to get there, or if your map's on cooldown for example. It's just really nice. For Upper Sycraia, they tightened up the packs and they made them more rotationally friendly with faster spawns. There is also a mini boss that now gathers rage as you're grinding, and upon appearing you can kill him and its minions in order to get a small reward. In this case, I just got some black stones and an ancient creature scale. The spot drops Deboreka rings, paint, the merchant ring piece, and forgotten limbo seals, and given the stats required for the spot, which is about 1100 AP and 440 DP, I would guess it's probably going to be competitive to Hex Sanctuary in terms of money per hour, which is actually really great to have a more modernized grind spot that is separate from the Crystallized Despair and the Essence of Dawn market. So this is going to be really nice, but while grinding here, you are going to be subject to getting knocked down by the mobs. And unless you're a particularly quick grinder, you're probably going to want to have some knockdown resist. And if you're on a good class and you're dodging the Lycan attacks though, you're probably going to be fine. But other than that, it's a very pure grind spot without a whole lot of gimmicks. For Lower Sycraia, the spot is genuinely frozen in time. When I entered the spot, it was like teleporting back to 2019. Nothing other than a tiny change to some pack locations has been really altered, and it stays true to its roots. You travel pack to pack, you kill fish, you avoid the slows from the towers, and then you just nestle in for the long grind. This spot will have significant issues with depositing trash loot, just like old Sycraia, unless you have a lot of maids, or unless you're grinding next to the NPC in the main rotation, so I can imagine that it's going to be pretty contested there. The spot does now drop Deboreka rings and the purple and red dyes for the weapons and armors, just like Star's End and Zephyros, since it is a top tier hunting zone. It does have 2 new items though. So first is a new Origin of Dark Hunger clone. It's a slightly improved version that gives you a bit more fail stacks per one, and it does cost more, but it's still ultimately capped at a maximum of a 300 stack. And I find that kind of lame. Like, I kind of wish that the upper limit was increased to 350 or even 400. We have very low rates on things now, like under 1% on Sovereign in some cases. And it would be really nice for people to be able to hit that 400 mark. But, you know, it is what it is. At least now there's a way for endgame players to get stacks without having to rely on the marketplace. The second thing is a new Sycraia crystal. This adds 4 monster damage to any resistance, so any resistance of your choosing. This is particularly beneficial to players who don't quite yet have deck weapons when trying to grind either Sycraia, Zephyros, or anywhere that requires endgame gear and resistances. So that's going to be really great for lessening the burden of trying to get to these new grind, like to get to the next grind zone when it requires resistances. Sycraia uses knockback and floating resistance, but it's the standard telegraphed attack that you'll see from the Lycans and the Elmer Moles, where they're kind of spinning up like Sonic and then they dash forward and knock you back. The Elmer Moles, the same thing. They spin in a circle and then you'll get CC'd. So it's more of an optional thing. As long as you're paying attention, you're probably able to avoid or just make sure that you're in super armor frontal guarding those types of attacks. But overall, I'm pretty happy to see the pack-to-pack grinds making their return. This was a much needed refresh on these grind spots. I am genuinely happy that they didn't put a Pearl Abyss spin on the grind spot, which can ultimately ruin the feel. Star's End rework was almost true to its roots, but due to like that crystal mechanic change where you kill the crystal as soon as possible rather than letting the mobs group to the crystal, it really changed the flow of how you grinded there. And so I didn't really get the same nostalgia in grinding Star's End that I think we're going to be getting in the Sycraia update. So this spot feels truly pure. I hope you guys enjoyed this short recap video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think about this update. Do you think Pearl Abyss was lazy and not adding new mechanics, or are you actually happy that PA has officially released just a modernization of an old beloved spot? Let me know. See ya.